Hi everyone. In this video we're going to see a very interesting practice problem, which is to determine if two queens can attack each other on a chessboard. If you're a beginner to programming, this problem might seem a bit complex, but once we break it down step by step, you will see how easy it is to solve problems like this. So let's get started. Let's take this chessboard, and as you might know, chessboard will have 8 rows and 8 columns, right? So this will be the first row, this will be the second row, third row, and so on till 8th row. Similarly, you will have 8 columns. This will be the first column, this will be the second, third, and so on till 8th column. Now what will be the input for this problem? You will be given the positions of two queens in terms of row and column. R1, C1 indicate the row and column of the first queen position. R2, C2 indicate the row and column of the second queen position. Let's also see this programmatically. So here I have created a new Python file 2_queens.py. Under this folder practice problems. All our practice problems will be placed inside this folder. Now as you can see, the queen 1 position will be given by two variables R1, C1. Each one of them could be anything between 1 and 8, right? Similarly, queen 2 position will be given by two variables R2, C2. Now when can these two queens attack each other? First possibility is if they are in the same row, right? That's one possibility, right? Second one is if they are in the same column. If Q1 is here and Q2 is also here in the same column, then also they can attack each other. And the third possibility is if both the queens are in a diagonal. If Q1 is here and Q2 is in the diagonal, then they can attack each other. Or it could even be this diagonal, right? Then they can attack each other. So we need to check three different conditions here. And checking if two queens are in same row or column is very straightforward, right? If you want to check if two queens are in same row, what you can do is you can check if row 1 is equal to row 2, which is by using if R1 double equals to R2, right? Similarly, if you want to check if both are in the same column, what you can do is you can check if C1 double equals to C2. This is very straightforward. These two conditions are straightforward. Now let's see the tricky part, which is diagonal, right? So how can we determine if two queens are in the same diagonal? So let's assume Q1 is at this position, row 5 and column 4, all right? Now let's assume Q2 is at this position in the same diagonal. Now for this Q2 to be in the same diagonal as Q1, you can see that it has to make same number of switches in terms of rows and columns. So Q1 is in this 5th row, right? Q2 is in this 3rd row. So it is 2 steps away from Q1, right? Q2 is 2 steps away from Q1 in terms of rows. And if you see columns, Q1 is in 4th column, Q2 is in 6th column. So it is 2 steps away in terms of columns as well. You can take any other position in the diagonal as well. Let's assume Q2 is in this diagonal. Let's say Q2 is here. Now if you see, in terms of rows, it will be 1, 2, 3 steps away. Even in terms of columns, you can see it is 1, 2, 3 columns away. So to put it simply, we can say two queens are aligned diagonally if the row distance between them is same as the column distance. Now how can we find row distance and column distance? So we can use R2 minus R1 for row distance, C2 minus C1 for column distance. But there is something we have to be careful about. So if you see in this particular example, so if you take R1, which is the row position of queen 1, it will be 5. R2 will be the row position of Q2, which will be 3. And if you find R2 minus R1, it will be 3 minus 5, which will give you minus 2. But the distance should be positive, right? So we need to always take the absolute value, which will give you 2. And in Python, we have a function called ABS, which will give you absolute value of any number. So how can we check if both queens are in the same diagonal? By using if absolute value of row 2 minus row 1 equals absolute value of C2 minus C1. right? Now we can say the queens can attack each other if any of these three conditions is true. So what we need to do is we need to join these three conditions with logical OR. Now in our program, we can write an if statement by combining these three conditions. The first condition is R1 equals R2. This is for row check. Or the second condition is C1 equals C2. This is for column check. Or the third condition is for diagonal check, which is absolute value of R2 minus R1 equals absolute value of C2 minus C1. Now if any of these conditions is true, the queens can attack each other. So what we can do is we can simply print the queens attack each other. Else, if none of these conditions is true, we can simply print the queens don't attack each other. That's it. Now that we have completed writing the code, we need to test it to see if it works correctly. So here if you see this particular input, so the queen's 1 position is 5th row, 4th column. Queen 2 position is 2nd row, 7th column. So queen 1 position is 5th row, 4th column. So this is where Q1 is. And queen 2 position is 2nd row, 7th column. This is where Q2 is, right? Now as you can see, these two queens are in the diagonal, and so the expected output is the queens attack each other. Let's see if our program gives the same output. So here we have the first condition, R1 equals R2. R1 is 5, R2 is 2, so they are not equal. So this will be false, and it goes to the next condition, C1 equals C2. 4 and 7 are not equal, so this will also be false, and so it goes to the third condition. Here we have absolute value of R2 minus R1. R2 minus R1 is 2 minus 5, which is minus 3, and absolute value of minus 3 will be plus 3. And absolute value of C2 minus C1 is C2 is 7, C1 is 4, 7 minus 4 is 3. So absolute value of 3 is 3. So both the values are equal, and so this condition will be true. So it will print the queens attack each other. Let me run the program and show you. Right click, run. You can see the queens attack each other, which is the expected output. Now we have tested our code for this particular input, but is that enough? No, it is not. We should test our code for different input scenarios. We also call them as different test cases. We have seen the case where both the queens are in the diagonal. Now let's take the scenario where both the queens are in the same row. So let me keep Q1 at the same position. Let me remove Q2 and let me keep it at 5th row, 7th column. Let me put Q2 here. Now what happens? Both the queens are in the same row, and so the expected output is the queens attack each other. Let me change the position of queen 2. Let me put it at 5th row, 7th column. Now what happens? First it checks this condition, R1 equals R2, both are 5, and so this will be true. So it will simply print the queens attack each other. Let me run the program, right click, run, and it correctly prints the queens attack each other, which is same as the expected output. Now let us take another test case where both the queens are in the same column. So let me remove Q2 from here and let me put it in 2nd row, 4th column. Now what happens? Both of them are in the same column, and so the expected output is the queens attack each other again. So let me put queen 2 at 2nd row, 4th column. Now what happens? R1 equals R2, both are not equal, so this will be false, and so it goes to the next condition, C1 equals C2, both are 4, and so this will be true, and so it will print the queens attack each other. Let me run the program and show you. Right click, run. You can see it prints the queens attack each other. So till now we have seen 3 test case scenarios: when queens are in the diagonal, when queens are in the same column, and when queens are in the same row. These 3 cases are positive scenarios, right? In all these 3 cases, the queens do attack each other. And we also need to test for negative scenario. So we should take some input where the queens don't attack each other, and then we have to verify our program output. So let me remove Q2 from here and let me put it in 2nd row, 6th column. Now as you can see, these two are not in the same row, they are not in the same column, they are not even in the diagonal. So what is the expected output? The queens don't attack each other. Now let me change the position of queen 2 in the program as well. Let me put it at second row, sixth column. Now what happens? The first condition r1 equals r2, this will be false, and so it goes to the next condition, c1 equals c2, this will also be false. Now it goes to the third condition, absolute value of r2 minus r1. 2 minus 5 will be minus 3, absolute value will be plus 3. And absolute value of c2 minus c1 will be 6 minus 4, 2. So 3 not equal to 2, so this will also be false. All of them are false, and so it should print the queens don't attack each other. Let me run the program and show you. Right click, run. So it correctly prints the queens don't attack each other. So once we solve any problem, this is how we need to test our code with different input scenarios. I hope you understood. So that's all for this tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed solving this problem with me. I'll see you in the next tutorial.